The move to go from one side of the river to the other side of the river is called the ferry. If we wanted to head over here and just head it across the river, the current would push us lower and lower and we'd end up way down here. In this example, it's okay, but in many of the other examples we just showed you, you wanted to stay up high because there was some kind of obstacle below. The solution is to go across the river at an angle. The current's pushing you down, but you're paddling up and you're also paddling some across. In this example, Greg's going at about 45 degrees, which is a pretty typical ferry. Occasionally, you may have to have less angle or more angle. We're going to leave a red star up here for the rest of our examples and assume that's the target. That's where we're trying to head. It's not so easy to maintain this perfect angle. Sometimes the current will grab your bow and push you downward. If that happens, use a forward sweep stroke to correct. Again, whenever possible, use forward sweep strokes to correct your angle. By using a forward sweep stroke, look where Greg ended up. It's tempting to use back sweep strokes to correct. They're powerful, but they push you backward, and look where he ends up after he's done that. Obviously, you can get off course with either too much or too little angle, but either way, backstrokes are not the way to correct. Here, Greg had to make several corrections, but he used only forward strokes, and he really didn't come out all that bad considering. Your angle coming out of the eddy is critical. If you use too little angle, the eddy line will reject you and you'll end up right back where you started. On the other hand, if you use too much angle, you'll immediately be blown downstream. You want to start a ferry from as high in an eddy as you can. If you start lower, like here, you end up lower. As you cross the eddy line, you have to make sure that you have some downstream edge. If not, you'll be upside down. But you don't want too much edge or you'll be blown off course and headed downstream. As you cross the eddy line, you should be stroking on the downstream side of the boat. This force will turn you upstream while the current is grabbing you and trying to push you downstream, so you'll stay on course. If you stroke on the upstream side of the boat as you cross the eddy line, both the stroke and the current will be turning you and you will get off course. You've got to paddle steadily to complete a ferry. Some beginners stop paddling as they cross the eddy line, and it sends you downstream. So far, we've shown our ferries coming out of the eddy, maintaining a steady ferry angle, and then keeping that ferry angle right as we go into the opposite side eddy. Sometimes what works better is to, at the last minute, fall off our ferry angle, pick up a little speed, and use that speed to punch through the eddy line. Here's the same thing again. We come out of the eddy, we maintain a steady ferry angle, then at the last minute we fall off, pick up some speed, and use that speed to punch through into the opposite eddy. In all our examples so far, we've left one eddy, ferried across the river, gone into the eddy on the other side of the river. Obviously, we've also haven't shown it, but we've returned, left the target eddy, ferried across the river, and gone back to the original eddy. Sometimes you can't find the perfect place where you can keep going back and forth from eddy to eddy. Or maybe for a beginner, It's hard to go from the eddy out into the current. If that's the case, you can practice this ferrying skill right out in the current as you float downriver, just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Many times we'll use a wave or a hole to help us with our ferry. This is called a power ferry. What's happening here is the power of the wave or hole keeps us from getting flushed downstream as quickly, so we can make it across the river easier or higher. Many times we will combine a ferry and a peel out so that we ferry across the river above an obstacle and then peel out to get into the main current and head downstream. Why is Greg getting blown downstream? Okay, here it is again. In the answer, he stopped paddling when he crossed the eddy line. Why have I tipped over? Okay, here it is again. And the answer, I'm too frickin' old. I just don't have any balance. What do Greg and I have in common over the next 3 clips? In all 3 clips, we're trying to leave the eddy with too little angle. And by the way, note in this 3rd clip here how grabby and unpredictable the eddy line is. Why do I keep getting blown downstream on these ferries? Why do I keep getting blown downstream on these ferries? My problem is bad timing. As I cross the eddy line, I'm not stroking on the downriver side of my boat. What am I doing or not doing? It's putting me upside down. In the answer, if you let the water catch your upstream edge, you're going to be upside down. What's my problem leaving the eddy here? Okay, here's the clip again. In the answer, I'm leaving the eddy with way too much angle. Greg leaves the eddy and gets blown off course. What does he do wrong? He does it a couple times in the clip. Here's the clip again. And the answer is, he's correcting with a back sweep stroke, which pushes you downstream. This time Greg leaves the eddy and gets blown off course, but this time he corrects properly. What does he do? And here's the clip again. And the answer, he corrects with a forward sweep stroke. This time I leave the eddy and get blown off course, but I failed to correct. What's my problem? And the answer is, my attempt at forward sweep strokes are pathetic. I should go and study the section and practice the section on stroke technique so I can have a little oomph in my paddling. Here Greg's made it out into the current, but he's not getting anywhere. What's his problem? His problem is he doesn't have enough angle. He's got to get at least 20, 30, 45 degrees, something. He needs some angle out in the current to get moving.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, only darkness every day. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, this house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. I wonder if this time where she's gone, I wonder if she's gonna stay. There ain't no sunshine when she's gone, this house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. And I know, 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 I know. Well, leave the young thing alone. There ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. This house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. I know, 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 I know. Well, leave the young thing alone. Ain't no sunshine when she